I just realized that I should probably go over some common mistakes that I see from fellow 3D artists when it comes to armor and weapons. Uh, the first common mistake that I see is where the placement of the waist is. So you'll notice here the waist it's quite high up. Um, the mistake would be like so if you don't if you don't really have a background in making armor, um, you might place the waist down here. So like the waist is like down here, right? This is this is where this is like the modern waist, right? This is where the jeans are. This is like the jean waist. So if like when you put on your pants or whatever, this is where the waistline is, right? You don't want that. You want to put the waistline up here. And the reason being, let me go grab tool, stick this back here instead. Hope Maddox doesn't mind I'm using the base mesh for cinema. But anyway, like if we oops. Give me a sec. I accidentally turned on Razor again. Or not Razor, but okay. Okay, there we go. So the reason being is that if we go to the human base mesh here, you'll notice like the ribs end here, and this portion here is compressible. Like anatomically speaking, like you can actually compress yourself here, whereas you can't down here. And this, when it's compressed, it creates like a small ledge here that is very important to put a belt. And this belt, so if there's like a belt here, let's just say there's a belt, and then you have like leather straps also going down to the cuisses. So these will connect with the cuisses. So the cuisses are the top portion here, and the cuisses connect by rivets. So let's go get some rivets. So the rivets connect, obviously these are massive rivets, but just for demonstration's sake, the rivets connect to the cuisses and and they also connect to the pull-ins. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So the pull-ins are here, the knee armor, and then the pull-ins connect to the greaves. So the legs are entirely connected to each other, and then these are also connected to the sabatons. But obviously, the connection points can be like something different, like clasps or whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot of different fastening methods for armor. You'll have to go and do that research. So that's why the waist is up here. It's for weight distribution. It also makes the character look a lot more elegant. So it enhances the length of the legs, even though the legs actually haven't been made longer. So it does have that cool look. So that's like the biggest mistake that I see from 3D artists that are making characters. You really want to dial in the proportions of your armor, or like anything else you're making, because this would also apply to like dresses or like brigandines and stuff like that, circuits, etc. Um, yeah, another mistake that I see is like not knowing how to uh, build shapes that facilitate articulation. Um, and this just comes with like practice and like learning more about like how armor works and stuff like that. And like if you can pick up some animation software and learn how to animate, that also helps. Like knowing what to do. It's just like sometimes you see like massive pauldrons or something, like something ridiculous like this, and then uh like you're never gonna be able to animate something like this. Just like from a technical standpoint. Um and it just looks like weird. Or sometimes you have like massive hot guards. So the hot guards would be like these flanges that come up here and they're like huge, right? Uh, the issue then becomes like, how is this going to animate? Like, if your pauldrons like, if you raise your arm, right, your pauldrons are gonna go up like this and smack you. It's gonna clip you in the face, the sides of the head. So that doesn't really work. Um, what else is a common mistake that I see? Um, okay, so this has to deal with weapons. So let's go get like a sword here. I don't know. So here we have like a sword blank, right? Uh, so we'll just pretend this is like a sword for a sec. So sometimes I see like 3D modelers, they just like make a sword like this, right? And then I don't know, something like this, right? You have the sword, you have the sword blade. Um, and okay, and then like you have the edge, right? The edge and folder and stuff like that. So, whoops, do something like this. Give me a sec. Okay, so all right, so well, let's pretend like this is a sword, right? What I see, 3D artists usually do is they have a sword blade like this. Oops. We have a sword blade. It looks like this. Um, and this is not good. The reason why it's not good is because a sword, it tapers on 2 dimensions. So it on the tapers on the y-axis. So obviously it gets pointier as it goes up. And then what 3D modelers don't usually know how to do is like they don't flip the sword like that way, and then they don't realize there's also a distal taper. So like that. You also want the blade to narrow on this axis, on the x-axis. So then like it becomes really thin and pointy at the end. And it's a bit thicker at the near the hilt. Like I can't tell you how many times I see swords like this in video games where it's just like flat all the way across, and then it's just like a point at the end or something like that. You need profile taper, so this is profile taper. So everyone knows what profile taper is, but then you also need distal taper, which is the tapering on the x-axis or the z-axis, depending on how you're modeling your sword. Another thing is like the handle, right? So what I see is everyone is like making handles like this. So like it's basically a perfectly round handle like that. Like, oh yeah, that's like the perfect handle. Like that, you know? It's like so round. You can't feel which way the blade is going. It's just round as round can be. Uh, this is not the way to make handles. Like okay, so some swords they do have round handles, but a lot of swords you want like an oval handle, like that, an oval cross section handle. So let's go take this guy's arm for a second. The reason why this is the case is grab this guy's arm, and then just want one of his arms. So if you're holding the sword, right, you'll notice that the hand is also an oval. So if your handle is also an oval, if your handle is also an oval, you'll be able to tell which way is facing forward and also which way is facing backwards. So this will inform you about, or it'll inform the character like which direction the blade is aligned. And this is super important if you want to kill anything. So oval handle. The last mistake that I see is that handles are like, people like to make the handles like super long. I don't know why you want to do this. Like, you only need a handle as long as your hand, unless it's like a long sword. So like you can have like 2 hands on this sword. Unless it's like a long sword like that, or if it's like a hand and a half sword, so you're just like gripping it by the pommel. So like that, and then you have the pommel. Uh, So then, like a hand and a half sword, right? Bastard sword. You'd be gripping the pommel right there, and then yeah. So there's only like you don't need a really long handle unless it's like a unless there's like a reason to have a really long handle. So profile taper, and then you have distal taper, and automatically it starts becoming much more sword-like. Um, oh yeah, lastly, another thing that really annoys me is that uh, sometimes armor in video games doesn't have like neck armor. Um, I mean, you have like a nice helmet and like a nice cuirass, but then if you don't have nice neck armor, guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna you're gonna get that's what's gonna happen to you if you don't have neck armor. Um, I know this is like an animation limitation sometimes, but still it bothers me to no end that game characters sometimes don't wear neck armor at all. So there we go. Like the priority, right? You want to protect your head, you want to protect your chest and internal organs there. You want to protect your neck, and then you want to protect like your extremities, like your hands and your arms, because those are going to be hit a lot. Shoulders, obviously, upper arm. Your arms are going to be hit a lot. Hips will also be hit a lot. So just like thinking about, if you're a 3D artist, just think about like what your character is going to be fighting and how best to armor that character to have an advantage in that fight. So I guess that's it for uh, common mistakes that I see in making video game armor. And I guess also weapons too. Catch you guys later.